rate of 69%. We can do better than this. So I'm going to review questions. I'm going to help you understand, and then we will go from there. And this application in email can also be sent to parents. So I like this because we're stepping it up. Let's go ahead and hit these review questions. What does the acronym SIPDE stand for? We have an accuracy rate of 61%. We need to do better than this. SIPDE stands for scan. You're scanning the road. You're identifying it. Is that a hazard? There's cars backing out. Someone is walking. There's a little kid on the bike. There's a girl running down the street. There's a dog chasing a girl down the street, right? Predict. You're going to predict. You can't predict what the dog will do because animals are wild. We might be able to predict what the girl will do because she sees a car. She'll probably stay to the right side of the car. The animal might see the girl, freeze, and then veer toward the car or veer toward the dog. You got to decide what to do. Are you going to stop if you see someone running or someone backing up? Are you going to veer to the opposite side? Or are you going to continue to go? So a lot of beginning drivers don't make decisions. That's the worst thing you can do. And then you have to execute. Carry out. Are you going to stop at the light? Are you going to proceed through with caution? Are you going to speed up? Are you going to make a left, make a right? Make a decision as a beginning driver. That's the best advice that I can tell you. Next, what is the purpose of the 2-second rule according to the text? A method of calculating the minimum following distance in an ideal urban driving conditions by using a fixed reference point. What does this mean? You're using a tree. You're using a light sign. You're using a mailbox. When a car passes that fixed object, 1001, 1002, 1003. Then after that, you pass that object. Hey, I'm 3 seconds away. I'm 4 seconds away. So you have to be able to calculate your following distance. It's extremely important, 74%. What does it mean to separate in the context of visual attention while driving? We know beginning drivers don't process cars, pedestrians, bicyclists, joggers, walkers, because you get overstimulated. So what I need you to do is keep space. A lot of beginning drivers panic when they see a car pulling out. You'll freeze. You'll veer to the left. You'll veer to the right. That is the worst thing you can do. I need to see you have eye movement to the left, middle, and right. This will happen around your second or third drive. Everyone's a little bit different. Handling hazardous situations one at a time. We're driving in downtown Houston, Texas, downtown Detroit, downtown Los Angeles. There are thousands of people. Separate yourself from the pedestrians. Drive to the left of your lane. If people are coming to the left, you go more to the right. Keep space. We don't know what people will do. Lessen the risk by presenting multiple problems. A lot of beginners don't know what to do. I know how to drive. You may know how to drive, but you don't know how to handle multiple problems when they pop up. What do you mean? A pedestrian walks out. A car pulls out. The light turns yellow. You'll freeze. All of you will freeze. So I'm here to help you process those situations and become a better driver. Next, what is the danger zone in the context of driving? It's the space in which it's impossible for the driver to stop his or her vehicle. So we want to minimize danger zones. What is that? We're driving in a neighborhood. You're going too fast. You see kids out. We want to stay the opposite side of the kids. We want to slow down to a very slow speed to cover our brake. We see a party in the street. People are washing cars, shooting basketball, cooking fried chicken. It's called a block party. We might have to turn around. Maybe there are too many people there. Maybe there's an accident scene. My job is to help you identify the dangers before we get into the danger zone. That's what good instructors do. What does compromise refer to in the context of visual attention when driving? This means you want to pick the least dangerous target. Example, leaving more room from the most dangerous of the two hazards. What does this mean? Well, there are kids walking on the left, there are kids walking on the right. You might have to sideswipe a car. We don't want to kill a kid. No, this is not San Andreas. No, this is not a video game. No, you don't get 2 points. You'll go to jail. It's called manslaughter. They put kids in jail. I don't want to see you in jail. This is a risk. We're not trying to kill someone. So we want to pick the least dangerous hazard. 39%. This tells me you guys don't know this. So compromise refers to in the context of visual attention while driving. This is why it's so important that you pay attention. If you have attention deficit disorder, you can't focus. Your brain can't focus. You miss people walking out. You miss visual cues. The light just turned yellow. There's a person walking out in a yellow light. We have to make a left turn. Our car's getting ready to run the light. I'm saying this so you understand that if you make a maneuver and the wrong decision, you could kill someone. I won't go to jail for you. You're the driver. A lawyer will be hired. They're going to ask me, did the student comprehend? No. Did the student listen? No. So if you take medication, you need to let me know. If you're having a bad day, let me know. But we still have to schedule you to drive. You're welcome. I really appreciate you, Bella. Let's keep going. So that's really important. So 39% tells me you guys don't know that. I would have written that down, right? What is the recommended action when dealing with multiple hazards according to the text? Handling hazardous situations one at a time, lessening the risk presented by multiple problems. A kid runs out in front of you. Obviously, we're going to stop. We see a kid running out from the right to the left. We're going to get to the left side of the street. We see kids coming left and right. We're going to stop. We see cars backing up. We're going to honk our horn. Because if you hit your horn when the kids are running across, they're going to freeze. You need to make eye contact with drivers. I always tell you this, and beginning drivers are scared to look through the window. Don't be scared. You have to communicate. So important. 65% here. So this tells me you don't understand these types of questions. What is the main idea of interval concept in the context of driving? This means distance to maintain. We want to pick a safe following distance. What do beginning drivers do? They tend to tailgate. They tend to focus, and you don't leave room because you can't keep your car straight because you haven't learned how. It's like you walking straight in the hallway. We're in America. We walk on the right side, but you walk toward the left. You walk toward the middle. A senior runs you over and steps on you like you're an ant. Or a football player bumps you and they don't even know that you got bumped. So you have to stay in your lane position. We know beginning drivers have a difficult time with depth perception, lane positioning. If you wear glasses, then you need to wear your glasses. It's really important. So the distance to maintain from vehicles in the front and rear calculated in seconds of traveling time. It's 10 seconds for, it's a car length for every 10 miles an hour. Xavier, are you okay? You looking fuzzy, my boy. What's going on, man? I'm calling you out. Come on, son. I need all my soldiers here, all my big dogs. If I'm taking the time to go over this and then you guys are getting 65%, that's on you. Because when I drive you, vision is the most important thing. 3 visual functions: focus, inner fringe, and peripheral. I'm sorry, I don't know what those mean. Okay? Your peripheral is left to right. Okay? Your side vision, your peripheral vision. Your inner fringe is the outside edges after peripheral. And focus is what's in front of you. So if you don't learn how to use your eyes properly, you could run into a car. You could run over the curb. You could hit a pedestrian. You could hit a tree. So I like this assessment because you're learning about vision. And this is so important. And I get a chance to see your scores. 83% peripheral vision is most important for seeing hazards from the side. Your peripheral vision is extremely important. There's a person walking from the left. there's a person walking from the right. And to give you a cheat code, when you go take your state examination, they're going to check your peripheral vision. And if you don't have good vision, then you won't pass and get your driver's license. So peripheral vision is extremely important. While driving, even when the traffic seems normal, you should search the environment around you constantly. Driving in downtown Chicago, downtown Detroit, downtown Los Angeles, downtown Houston, Texas. There are thousands of people down there. We were down there with the client. A pedestrian saw us coming. We were going about 20. He walked right in front of us. We almost hit him and flipped him. People judge distance, some not properly, and they almost get hit. So what I need you to do is keep your eyes moving. Don't fall asleep on this and not see it. Maintaining the minimum following distance of 2 seconds is ideal in urban traffic conditions. This will help prevent crashing into vehicles ahead of you. A lot of beginners crash into vehicles because you don't see it. You're probably saying, what? They really do that? Yeah, you really do that. Because sometimes you have inattentive blindness. You don't see what's ahead of you. You don't see there's a person walking. You don't see the car stopped. And then you're like, oh, and then I have to cover the brake. I don't want to drive you. I want you to learn how to drive. And if I help you too much, you won't learn. When a vehicle follows too closely, tailgater, you should reduce speed gradually to encourage this vehicle to pass. It doesn't say slam brakes. It doesn't say swerve. Just reduce your speed a little bit. They'll tailgate you a little bit, and then they'll change lanes. We're not trying to get someone aggressive and get out of pocket. All of you should know what out of pocket is. The greatest danger when following a large vehicle in traffic is the result of reduced visibility. Keep room, keep space. You're learning some good driving fundamentals right now. This is 87%. When you drive on the street where there are vehicles parked alongside the sidewalk, you should be checking for car doors that may open suddenly. We always want to be aware. You got to watch. You got to look. There's a lot of information you have to process. You have an illustration. You guys won't be able to see it. Some of you will. Driving vehicle A and then vehicle B cuts in front of you. You should reduce speed to regain a safe interval. Keep space. Don't tailgate. People may not see you. Check the sides of the roadway when driving. You should use short glances, returning your vision to the roadway ahead. A lot of you will stare too hard to the left, stare too hard way to the right. I'm glad my videos help you. I really appreciate it. I want you to do well. You're a great support. I really appreciate you, Jackson. So you've got to process. A lot of beginners stare too long to the right. We just went off the road. They stare too long to the left. We just went off the road. You stare at the light and then you just hit someone. So you have to glance quickly. Vehicle A in the situation shown in the diagram should reduce speed. There is something in the road. Reduce speed and yield. Okay. 35% here. Driving vehicle A in this diagram, you should reduce speed and yield. A car's coming in your lane. Reduce your speed. Increase your following distance. Take your time. Control. We're not going to rush. We're not going to rush the schedule. We're not going to rush to get you out there. But we do have a time limit. But we're not going to rush. 96%. A restricted line of sight or space area occupied by the road user is called a closed space area. When you're driving and you have space in front of you, that's open. When you're driving and there's a car in front of you, that space is closed. I'll say it again. When you're driving and there's a space in front of you, your space is open. When you're driving and there's an object or a car in front of you, it's closed. We want to try to keep in open areas as much as possible. If the area available to operate your vehicle without any restrictions to your line of sight or your path of travel is called an open space area. So keep open space if you can. It's really important. You always want to check your surroundings when you drive off. A car could come by. There could be a rabbit underneath. There could be some fluid leaking. So you always want to look. When you walk up to your car, you want to look. When you get to the car, you want to look around. An animal could come out, a skunk, a possum. You got to be really careful. The technique of reducing risk from a hazard by reducing speed to increase time and space and or by, I love this question because it's complicated, is to minimize. So you might have to speed up to go to an open space. You might have to slow down to create more space. That's if you really want to learn. And bosses don't talk, they listen. All of you are bosses right now. The technique of taking each hazard one at a time in order to minimize the risk for you and your passengers is called separate. You always want to separate the things you need to be safe. We can't take on all hazards. A lady backing out, a bicyclist riding, a pedestrian crossing in front of us, a couple walking out who came from the bar. We all have to make good decisions. And if necessary, we might have to slow down very slow. We might not be able to stop. A technique of leaving more space from the most dangerous of the two hazards without unnecessarily risking from the other is called compromise. So we want to learn to make those decisions. I refer to neighborhoods because kids are out. I refer to downtown areas, Tampa, Florida, Dallas, Texas, downtown Detroit, Michigan, Los Angeles, California. You got to really slow down and keep more room. 39% here, 96. Stopped at a red traffic signal and the light changes to green. You should check left, center, right, left again, and then proceed. Do people really do that if you don't want to get hit? I'm trying to teach you driver's education. I'm a state certified instructor. Thank you for the thumbs up, Jackson. What's up? So we're trying to keep it going. I like this. At an intersection, we're going and we have to look to the left. At an intersection where your field of vision is obstructed, a semi truck, a big tree, a light, you have to look. Where a lot of you will just roll out and get hit, you got to look. It's like playing a video game. You see the shadow of the enemy. You see the shadow of the car. You see the shadow of the monster. Oh yeah, I know that. So you got to learn to look. Advance slowly and carefully until you see far enough so you can cross safely. Approaching a railroad crossing, you should reduce speed and proceed with caution. Some areas across the United States don't have gates. Flashcards are really important. I got you. I'll help you. I'll do a screen share sometime. Let's keep going. I like this question. It's 9 seconds to do this. Match the following. So I love these scenarios. High quality. Aiming 20 to 30 seconds ahead to keep your eyes moving. It's called scanning. You got to scan. But as a beginning driver, you'll just look ahead. Select the critical signs, signals, and problems on the HTS. HTS is Highway Transportation System. Driving in your neighborhood. Driving on the main street. Driving in a downtown area. Anytime you drive, you're in the HTS. Thinking ahead to evaluate the situation of the worst possible scenario. The kid is going to walk out in front of me and they don't see me and I hit them. The man is going to back his car out and he didn't see me and he hit my parents' car. At the corner, they don't stop at the yield sign and they hit me. I'm jogging down the street. I have my headphones on and the person backing out doesn't see me. You have to be prepared for these situations. The mental judgment of the correct action is to decide what to do. You have to decide what to do. And a lot of you won't do that. You'll just say, I don't know what to do. That's not an answer. Adapting to the hazards by changing speed and direction. Execute. This is critical for your development. And a lot of you don't do this. This happens around the third drive, the fourth drive, the fifth drive. So you really need to work hard. Danger zone, the space in which it's impossible for the driver to stop. What does this mean? You're backing out of your driveway, you're almost down, and the kid runs out. You can either bump them or run them over. A method of calculating the minimum following distance, 2 seconds. Reducing danger by increasing both time and space, minimize. The distance to maintain other vehicles in front and rear, calculated in seconds, is called interval. Handling hazardous situations from the time to lessen the risk, separate. You want to keep room. You're driving in a neighborhood. You want to stay to the right because we're in America. If someone comes out from the right, you get to the middle left. If someone comes out left and right, you might want to slow down, increasing your following distance. Type in what you learned. Everyone type in 2 things you learned. Please do this right now. Type in 2 things you learned. All of you type in 2 things you learned. 2 things you learned. High quality teaching. I'm trying to give you a perspective of driver's education. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Separate and pick the 2 biggest things. Vision is really, really important. I always talk about vision. I always talk about having space and being a good defensive driver. I think as a beginning driver, and a beginner is anyone with less than 10 years. If you're 19, that's 29. If you're 18, that's 28. If you're 24, that's 34. People are taking driver's education later in life, 21, 25, 27. That's fine. You know, that 18 to 36, that's the age group that I want to help with. That's the age group that I want to prepare. And I'm going to try to go live as much as I can to help you. I'll be in Dallas, Texas tomorrow. Well, Houston, Texas tomorrow. So I'll be going live then. The Wi-Fi might be okay. And we'll still teach. We'll go live. We'll talk about some of the things in Dallas, Texas. I'll be there for until Saturday. But I'm really trying to help all of you do well. And I want to say thank you. If this brings you value, subscribe. If this brings you value, watch all the videos. I want to say thank you all. Bye.